You can roll your eyes all you want, but every time a Eurodance track played in the 90s, people got moving. This spirited fusion of techno, high energy, and house dominated pop radio across the globe, especially between 1993 and 1996. The formula was almost always the same: a soulful female vocalist on the chorus, a strangely intense rapper on the verse, and a 130 BPM synth hook that would drill into your brain without asking for consent. Acts like Two Unlimited, Haddaway, and Ace of Base churned out hits that were undeniably cheesy, but meticulously crafted for mass appeal. It was the guilty pleasure of the decade that kept wedding DJs hyping the crowd with the same tracks for the next 20 years. These are the 90s Eurodance anthems that got us moving way back when. Snap! Rhythm is a Dancer, 1992. This might be the track that officially kicked off the Eurodance explosion of the 90s. People at the time cited the track's fusion of soulful US house and harder European techno as a big reason for its success. Mostly, though, I think it's just downright infectious, especially with the cleaner, more spacious production compared to the standard techno tracks of the time. Because it was polished enough for top 40 radio, it became many people's introduction to electronic dance music, despite having one of the most often mocked lines in 90s pop with, "I'm serious as cancer when I say rhythm is a dancer." The tension between the gospel-inflected chorus and Turbo B's staccato rapping, not to mention the atmospheric mood created by its mechanical minor key melody, created a cross-genre appeal that broke through to audiences the world over. Ultimately, it offered a glimpse into the juggernaut that Eurodance could be, spawning dozens upon dozens of crowd-pleasing jams in its wake. Culture Beat, Mr. Vain, 1993. If Rhythm is a Dancer was the song that opened the door for Eurodance, Mr. Vain just might be the track that kicked things into high gear. Released a year later, this track brought a darker, more aggressive edge to the Eurodance formula, with its sinister synth bass line, obsessive lyrical theme, and a frantic 133 BPM tempo. A step up from the 125 BPM used in Snap's 1992 hit. The production is notably harder than its peers too, utilizing industrial-tinged textures that give the track a sense of looming danger. Tanya Evans' powerhouse vocals are perfectly offset by Jay Supreme's rapid-fire delivery, creating a tension that never quite lets up. At the time, some critics panned it for the formulaic structure and cheesy lyrics, but no one could deny the dance floor appeal behind its high-energy production. The song was so infectious it went to #1 in 12 countries, and was the year's best-selling single in the group's home country of Germany. Two Unlimited, No Limit, 1993. If Eurodance had a national anthem, this Dutch-Belgian powerhouse would be the primary candidate for its sheer, unapologetic intensity, delivering a synth riff that sounds like a musical pneumatic drill. Ray and Anita perfected the tough guy rapper plus diva singer dynamic, alternating between the verse's aggressive vocal commands and a simple, straightforward chorus that transcends language barriers. At the time, critics harped on its lyrical simplicity and the seemingly mindless repetition of words. However, that minimalism actually worked in its favor, putting the spotlight on the song's stadium-sized rhythmic assault that stayed in your head long after you've heard it. It's one of the best examples of how a repetitive hook can be transformed into a cultural phenomenon through a pure earworm melody. Before we continue, you can enjoy more 90s music discussions by subscribing to the channel and smashing that like button. We plan to make more of these, so keep up with us and let's embrace the nostalgia together. Haddaway, What is Love, 1993.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't
Before it became a Saturday Night Live punchline, this track brought us sophisticated minor-key synth-pop melancholy that uses questioning and pleading lyrics to great effect. Haddaway's soulful vocals provided a rare emotional weight to a genre usually focused on getting people to get up and dance, all while contrasting beautifully with the urgency of the stabbing synth chords. That staccato synth line is arguably one of the most recognizable sounds of 1993, driving a rhythm that makes it near impossible to not snap your neck in response. The production is remarkably clean, too, avoiding the clutter of its contemporaries to let that iconic four-note bass motif do the heavy lifting. It wasn't just popular, it was a massive hit that reached the top of the charts in 14 countries and sold 2.6 million copies just 1 year after release. Corona, The Rhythm of the Night, 1993.
This is the rhythm of the night. Oh, yeah.
This Italian production captures the ecstatic peak of the 90s club experience, centered around a vocal performance that feels as powerful as any diva hit song from the same time period. The track's production is fascinating, shifting from a moody, filtered verse into a chorus that explodes with an almost spiritual fervor. Instead of being aggressive like some techno songs of the time, it brought a euphoric vibe that was much more uplifting. It's representative of the Eurodance style of the time, which favored melodic richness over the harder edges of Northern European techno, creating a sound that brings images of summer vacations and beach parties instead of dark and sweaty clubs. The simple four-chord progression on the chorus, the short vocal samples, and the bouncy melody all come together to keep the listener locked into the song's monumental groove. Real McCoy, Another Night, 1993. This track took the German techno sound and gave it a glossy, radio-friendly sheen, allowing it to crack the notoriously difficult US Billboard charts, where it spent 45 weeks on the Hot 100. It has a relentless, galloping bass line that continuously drives the song forward, with dramatic, minor-key synthesizers that elevates the song above standard pop fare. The interplay between the haunting female verse and the synth hook in the backing is an absolute earworm, while the lyrics encapsulate the longing theme that's pretty popular in the genre. It has crisp production, rhythmic rap segments, a totally memorable chorus, and a punchy low end that still sounds good on modern sound systems, making it a genuine high watermark for the German production style of the time. La Bouche, Be My Lover, 1995. This track is a masterclass in hooks, grabbing the listener within the first 3 seconds with the intro and never letting go. Melanie Thornton's powerhouse vocals are the undisputed star here, possessing a rich, velvety timbre that's not too common among Eurodance vocalists, essentially elevating the track right off the bat. The production feels really fleshed out too, with a heavy kick drum beat giving it plenty of thump without being too aggressive, syncopated piano chords on the bridge that give it a house music vibe, and a perfectly balanced mix that sounded ready for top 40 radio right off the bat. The combination of that polished production style and the singer's soulful warmth created a massive pop anthem that feels right up there with the biggest songs at the top of the pop charts. Ace of Base, Beautiful Life, 1995.
It's a beautiful life. Oh, oh, it's a beautiful life.
While The Sign from 1993 is arguably their more popular track, it's not exactly a proper Eurodance number, with its more pronounced reggae pop sounds. Beautiful Life, on the other hand, sees the Swedish quartet fully embracing the Eurodance spirit, delivering a potent cocktail of techno beats, gospel-tinged backing vocals, and Scandi-pop melodic hooks. The track is so relentlessly upbeat, it's almost overwhelming, creating a stark contrast with the more depressing rock music from that period. It captured the mid-90s transition, where Eurodance began to merge with mainstream pop, making the genre feel even more accessible to worldwide audiences. The song, by the way, served as one of producer Max Martin's first major breakthrough hits in the US and UK markets. Whigfield, Saturday Night, 1994. This was the quintessential party starter in the 90s, a track built around a bouncy, infectious synth bass hook that's downright impossible to ignore. It also popularized a synchronized dance consisting of a series of hand rolls and hops that everyone in Europe somehow learned without the aid of the internet. The artist brought a bubbly Danish charm to a genre that was largely dominated by aggressive German production, while creating a hook that sounds like it's been scientifically engineered to lodge itself into your brain and stay there. It represents the lighter, fluffier side of Eurodance that traded underground cred for pure, unadulterated pop ubiquity. Gala, Freed from Desire, 1996. By 1996, Eurodance was evolving. Sure, the song had the hallmarks, from the driving 4/4 beat, catchy synth riff, and powerful female vocals. However, the song strips away the rapper trope entirely and chooses to focus on a hypnotic, club-focused vibe. The phonetic, repetitive hook was easy to remember and sing along to. While being so catchy, it can get an entire room of strangers singing along in its heyday. It had the energy and vibe of football clubs and large stadiums, giving it an anthemic feel long before it was adopted by sports fans in the 2010s. The song also carried anti-materialism sentiments, which was pretty unusual for Eurodance, while bringing a cool, minimalist edge that made it welcome in the underground house scene. Vengaboys, We Like to Party, The Vengabus, 1998.
The Vengabus is coming, and everybody's jumping. New York to San Francisco.
As the 90s drew to a close, the Vengaboys took the Eurodance formula to its most theatrical and absurd conclusion. It went full lowbrow with this song, even using a synth hook that's meant to sound like a bus horn to signal the shift to a full-on circus vibe. It's a frantic, colorful explosion of sound that embraces the cheesy label and revels in it. Is it even really Eurodance? Some will say no, since it veers too much on the pop side, although it does use the foundational elements of Eurodance to great effect. It's best to look at it as the loud, colorful finale to the genre that brought electronic dance music to the mainstream.